Some people wake up and move through life like a storm, calm, unstoppable, focused. They handle challenges, deadlines, and chaos with quiet intensity, while the rest of us are chugging coffee just to stay awake by noon. You've probably wondered what their secret is. Maybe you blame genetics, youth, or caffeine. But none of that explains why some 70-year-old master craftsmen still wake up before dawn, working 12-hour days without breaking a sweat, while 20-somethings collapse after a few hours of emails. The difference isn't age. It isn't even motivation. It's understanding. The Japanese have a word for this kind of understanding: Yamato Damashii, the Japanese spirit. It's not some mystical energy. It's a way of seeing effort itself as something that must be directed, not just spent. The same mindset that allowed Miyamoto Musashi to win over 60 duels without exhaustion, that helped earthquake survivors rebuild entire cities from nothing, that lets old masters work on their craft for 70 years without ever burning out. They know something we don't. Energy isn't about pushing harder, it's about losing less. Every day, you're leaking power in invisible ways, through overexertion, scattered focus, endless novelty, false performance, and rushed transitions. And no matter how many supplements, hacks, or motivational quotes you try, nothing fixes it until you understand what's quietly draining you. In this video, we'll uncover 5 hidden energy leaks you probably don't even realize exist, and 5 ancient Japanese principles that transform those leaks into fuel. Because the real secret to limitless energy isn't found in grinding harder. It's found in mastering the art of when not to. And it all starts with the first leak, the mental trap that steals your energy before your morning even begins. Gambaru versus Gaman, the two faces of effort. The first invisible leak is how you use effort itself. Most people think success is about giving 100% all the time. Grind until you make it. Push through the pain. No days off. But in Japan, that mindset would be considered reckless, even foolish. The Japanese have 2 completely different words for effort: gambaru and gaman. Gambaru means to persevere with full force, to give everything you have when the moment demands it. It's the roar of the samurai when the sword strikes, the last surge of energy when life depends on victory. It's sacred, but temporary. Then there's gaman, quiet endurance. It means to bear, to persist calmly, to sustain without complaining. The power to endure a storm without losing yourself in it. Both are virtues, but the difference between them is timing. The West glorifies gambaru. Every single day, every email, every meeting, every workout, every task gets treated like a final battle. But the samurai knew better. They reserved gambaru for the decisive moment. Everything before that was gaman, steady, patient, building power without waste. When Tokugawa Ieyasu besieged Osaka Castle, he didn't attack the walls daily like a fool. He waited. He let time, hunger, and pressure do the work. By the time his army finally struck, the defenders had already exhausted themselves. That's strategy, not sprinting every day, but conserving energy for the moment that matters. The ancient text Hakaru warned, the warrior who treats every moment as battle will have no strength when true battle comes. Yet that's exactly what you do. You fight your commute, your inbox, your gym session, as if each were life or death. Think of master swordsman Yagi Munenori, who served 3 shoguns across decades. His family taught effortless movement, not laziness, but efficiency. Like water finding the easiest path down a mountain, achieving maximum effect with minimum strain. You're doing the opposite. You're in permanent gambaru mode, burning yourself out on meaningless fights. By noon, you've spent the energy meant for the entire week. And the worst part, none of those things even required your full force. Tomorrow, you'll have a choice: Keep sprinting every step or walk with Gaman, so you can still sprint when it truly counts. But even if you master the balance between power and patience, there's another leak waiting, one that divides your strength into 100 directions before you ever reach your goal. Ikkitousen, one force, 1,000 results. You can master your energy in the moment, but still lose everything by scattering it across too many battles. The samurai had a phrase for this. Ikkitousen, one force, 1,000 results. It wasn't about strength, it was about focus. In ancient Japan, a single warrior could hold a bridge against hundreds, not because he was superhuman, but because every ounce of his power was aimed at one point. Modern life has made you forget this truth. You're swinging your sword in 10 directions at once, wondering why nothing cuts deep. The Takeda clan understood Ikkitousen better than anyone. When their cavalry went to war, they didn't charge wildly like European knights. They studied the terrain, the wind, the morale of the enemy. Then, when they saw the one weak point, they struck it with everything. One perfect blow collapsed entire armies. That's the art of focus, and it works the same in life. Most people believe productivity means doing more, but the masters knew it means removing what doesn't matter until what remains becomes unstoppable. In Kendo, a student spends their entire first year learning a single strike. Men, the head cut, thousands of repetitions. Westerners hate that. They want variety, they want progress. But when that one strike is perfected, it carries the weight of 10,000 failures. It can break through any guard, because every practice, every movement, every breath served that single purpose. The same philosophy forged the katana. European swords tried to do everything: cut, stab, block. The katana does one thing: it cuts. But it does so with impossible precision, because every part of its design was sacrificed for that one motion. You divide your focus between 10 projects, 10 goals, 10 distractions, and each gets a fraction of your energy. But energy doesn't divide cleanly. It leaks. The time you spend switching, worrying, and starting over eats away what little power remains. 10 goals don't make 10 achievements. They make one burnt-out mind. Sen no Rikiya, the tea master who transformed an entire culture, dedicated his life to one question: how can I serve tea with perfect grace? 40 years later, that single question built an art form that still defines Japan. One focus, infinite results. That's Ikkitousen. Not more effort, more direction. But even with perfect focus, most people still collapse halfway through their journey. Because mastery itself has stages, and almost everyone gets stuck in the first one. Shuhari, the trap of eternal beginner mode. You've learned to pace your energy and focus it like a blade. But there's still a deeper trap, one that keeps most people exhausted forever. The Japanese call it Shuhari, the 3 stages of mastery. Shu means protect, ha means break, ri means leave. It's not just a path to skill, it's a map of how your energy evolves. The problem: you're trapped in the first stage. In Shu, you copy, you follow the rules. Every action requires conscious thought. Every move burns fuel. It's necessary at the beginning, but it's supposed to be temporary, like scaffolding around a new temple. You follow systems, gurus, routines, and it works until it doesn't. Because constant self-monitoring is exhausting. Watch a new driver on the road: stiff shoulders, white knuckles, eyes darting everywhere. They're drained after 20 minutes. That's Shu energy. Everything manual, nothing natural. Then comes Ha, the stage of adaptation. You begin to understand why the rules exist, so you bend them without breaking them. The calligraphy student stops counting brushstrokes and starts feeling the motion. The martial artist stops thinking about stance and begins flowing with rhythm. Less energy leaks because instinct takes over. You've internalized structure, and that frees you. Finally, there's transcendence. the stage of pure mastery, the stage where effort becomes effortless. Think of Jiro Ono, the legendary sushi master. After 60 years, his hands no longer make sushi. They are sushi. There's no calculation, no fatigue, only flow. That's why a 90-year-old master can work with more stamina than a young apprentice. He's moved beyond effort itself. You, however, keep restarting at Shu. Every new habit tracker, productivity system, or life hack resets you to day one. You burn energy relearning what you already knew because novelty feels like progress. But it's just repetition in disguise. You're addicted to beginnings, the dopamine of starting fresh, while paying the energy cost of eternal inexperience. True energy comes from depth, not variety. From commitment, not constant reinvention. The longer you stay on one path, the less energy it takes to walk it. The master isn't superhuman. He's efficient. He's stopped wasting power on decisions, doubts, and distractions. That's Shuhari's real lesson. Mastery doesn't drain energy. It returns it. But even if you master your craft perfectly, there's another invisible drain, one most people never see until it consumes them completely. Makoto, the hidden energy leak of pretending. Even if you master your habits and your focus, you can still end each day completely drained. Not because you worked too hard, but because you weren't yourself while doing it. The Japanese call this leak Makoto. Truth, sincerity, authenticity. It doesn't mean honesty in words. It means alignment between who you are, what you feel, and what you do. When those three don't match, energy disappears. It's not a small loss. It's a constant bleed you don't even notice until you wake up wondering why you hate the life you built. The samurai understood this better than anyone. The Bushido code demanded directness in every action. A warrior couldn't afford to hesitate, pretend, or perform. Pretending loyalty while feeling doubt could get you killed. The Hagature said, when one has made a decision, it is best to act without hesitation. In battle, that meant survival. In life, it meant authenticity. Because the moment you start performing for approval, smiling when you don't mean it, agreeing when you don't care, forcing enthusiasm for things you hate, you split in two. One version acts, the other watches in silence. That gap is where all your energy vanishes. Modern Japan knows this tension deeply. They call it honen tatame, your true self and the mask you show society. Everyone has both. But when the gap between them grows too wide, collapse follows. Karoshi, death from overwork, isn't really about work. It's about pretending everything's fine when it isn't. The energy cost of faking a life is higher than the cost of living one truthfully. You feel it every day. The weight of forced smiles, empty conversations, fake "I'm good" replies. Each one is a tiny performance that burns glucose, tightens muscles, and floods the brain with tension. By noon, you're exhausted, not from your tasks, but from acting. You're not tired because life is hard. You're tired because you're pretending it isn't. The swordsmith Masamune once said, "I do not force the blade to become something it's not. I reveal what it already is." That's Makoto, letting truth shape the work instead of fighting it. You don't need to be impressive. You need to be real, because truth requires no rehearsal, and therefore no wasted energy. Look at your own life. How many hours do you spend performing a role? The productive worker, the agreeable friend, the person who never complains. All of it is a mask, and masks are heavy. When you drop them, something strange happens. The fatigue fades, the body relaxes, energy returns. That's the power of Makoto, the strength that comes from no longer pretending. But even truth has its limit. If you don't learn the next principle, the art of recovery between moments, the secret that separates exhaustion from endurance. Zanshin, the awareness that restores power. Even if you live truthfully, even if you master focus and effort, There's one last leak that drains almost everyone alive today. Zanshin, the remaining mind. It's the awareness that lingers after an action ends. The samurai believed this moment determined victory more than the strike itself, not the attack, the after, the calm stillness that follows. That's where energy either multiplies or disappears. In modern life, this moment barely exists. You finish one thing and instantly rush to the next. Send an email, open another, end a meeting, start scrolling, complete a task, chase a new one. You never let your mind land. You delete the pause where energy regenerates. The samurai knew better. In Kyudo, Japanese archery, the master's shot doesn't end when the arrow leaves the bow. They hold the stance, breathing deeply as the arrow flies. That's Zanshin, presence so complete, it extends beyond the action. The arrow's path is already decided by that awareness. In that stillness, the body restores itself. Science later confirmed what the samurai already lived. Your nervous system releases a completion response, a quiet reward of dopamine and serotonin. Only when you remain conscious after finishing something, rush away too fast, and you get nothing. No closure, no energy return. You worked, but you didn't absorb the gain. It's like exhaling without ever inhaling again. Japanese calligraphers demonstrate this beautifully. After finishing a stroke, they don't move right away. They hold the brush mid-air, feeling the ink settle into the paper. That silence is Zanshin. By the 100th character, they're calmer, not drained, because each action completes a full cycle of energy. Western culture destroyed this rhythm. We live in constant transition, switching, checking, refreshing, and then wonder why we feel empty even after productive days. You can fix it with one change. After every task, pause, count 3, slow breaths. Let your body feel that it's done. Let your mind close the loop. You'll be shocked at how quickly peace returns. This is the space where the masters refuel, the pause between inhale and exhale, between battle and rest, between effort and renewal. Zanshin isn't inactivity, it's completion. You've now seen all 5 principles. Gaman teaches sustainable effort. Ikkitousen teaches focus. Shuhari teaches progression. Makoto teaches authenticity. But Zanshin transforms them from discipline into energy. It's the invisible multiplier, the power of presence that turns exhaustion into strength. But what happens when you combine them all, when you stop wasting energy entirely? The answer is what every samurai, monk and craftsman eventually discovered, the state beyond effort itself. The samurai equation for limitless energy. If you combine all 5 principles, Gaman, Ikkitousen, Shuhari, Makoto, and Zanshin, something extraordinary happens. Energy stops being something you chase. It becomes something that returns to you naturally. The samurai called this Hejoshin, the everyday mind, a calm alertness that never fades because it wastes nothing. It's not adrenaline, not hype, not caffeine-fueled productivity. It's quiet power, the kind that makes you steady under pressure, creative under chaos, and still awake long after others have burned out. Here's the equation they lived by. Effort, Gaman, plus focus. Ikkitousen, plus mastery. Shuhari, plus truth. Makoto, plus awareness. Zanshin equal infinite energy. Each principle preserves what the modern world burns through daily. The samurai didn't meditate or train for motivation. They did it to eliminate waste, mental, emotional, and physical. When you live in alignment with these laws, you no longer run out of energy because you stop losing it. Energy is never the problem. Leakage is. Modern life teaches you to push harder. 5 a.m. alarms, constant hustle, endless grind-set mantras. But that's not strength. It's desperation disguised as discipline. True strength is economy, doing exactly what's required. No more, no less. Musashi said it clearly in the Book of Five Rings. Do nothing which is of no use. Every wasted thought, every forced smile, every unnecessary movement drains the same battery. The masters spent centuries learning how to protect it. When you apply these principles, work stops feeling like war. You move through the day like a swordsman through wind, deliberate, precise, relaxed. Focus becomes effortless because it's not fighting distraction. It's flowing through it. Time stretches. Tasks shrink. You stop collapsing at the end of the day because your energy isn't leaking from pretending, rushing, or overreaching. You're finally using life the way it was meant to be used, efficiently, truthfully, beautifully. That's the samurai equation. Energy without exhaustion, strength without strain. But there's one final truth, the one lesson that decides whether all this wisdom transforms you or fades away like another motivational quote. Why you're tired and what to do about it. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because you've been living against your own nature. You sprint where you should walk. You scatter when you should focus. You restart when you should deepen. You pretend when you should be honest. You rush when you should breathe. Every day you leak your life through invisible cracks and then call it hard work. But exhaustion isn't a badge of honor. It's a warning sign that you've forgotten how to live like a warrior. The Japanese never saw energy as something to gain. They saw it as something to protect. That's why the phrase Nanakorobi Yaoki, fall down 7 times, get up 8, doesn't mean relentless grinding. It means getting up differently each time, smarter, calmer, with less waste. They understood that life doesn't reward endless effort. It rewards refined effort, the kind that leaves enough strength for tomorrow. You don't need another morning routine or productivity hack. You need alignment. That's what these 5 principles give you. Gaman teaches you to pace yourself. Ikkitousen teaches you to focus your force. Shuhari teaches you to grow beyond effort. Makoto teaches you to stop pretending. Zanshin teaches you to rest while awake. Together they form a code, one that turns survival into artistry. The samurai weren't extraordinary because they had more energy. They were extraordinary because they refused to waste it. Every breath, every movement, every thought was intentional. When you live like that, life itself becomes meditation. You no longer need to push. You just move, cleanly, efficiently, without drag. Most people will hear this and nod, then go back to burning themselves out for things they don't even care about. But a few will see it for what it is, a roadmap back to peace. Those few will study these principles, not as ideas, but as daily practice. They'll stop sprinting a marathon and start walking like masters. And slowly, the exhaustion will fade, because energy was never your problem. The leaks were, and now you know exactly where they are and exactly how to stop them. The only question that remains is whether you'll keep leaking or start living.